Welcome to the Rugby Gods podcast. I'm John Keenan, so I'm going to be at least one of your hosts, maybe the only host, who knows. This is a little bit of a trial or a demo or a pilot, I guess, I don't know, using some pretty shit software and a pretty old computer. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I can use this, maybe I cannot. But yeah, welcome. No mai, haere mai. Welcome, like I said. Rugby time. So what am I going to do with this? Or what is this going to be? Hopefully it's going to be pretty much rugby related, right? I'm thinking that's why you're here. But I'm probably going to focus on primarily the Super Rugby competition. Just for a little bit of background context. I am from New Zealand. I'm currently living in Taiwan, so a little bit of a rugby backwater. But a little bit hard even to access good rugby content, although that's rapidly improving or always improving with YouTube, etc. Pretty much internationalizing television or media content, and hopefully this is just basically a small oar in the rugby lake or the rugby ocean. It's my effort basically to have a bit of a chit chat. So sorry, I got a little bit off topic there perhaps. Probably happened quite a lot, especially without a co-pilot at present. It's not really my thing to do this opening, hey, how's it going, blah 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 kind of thing. In fact, I actually have another podcast that I do with a friend, an American friend, here in Taiwan, in Taipei, and he's sort of more the presenter, I'm more the sort of analyst kind of comments kind of person. So yeah, this is definitely kind of new water for me, new territory, new kind of role. Basically have to do everything and at present. And so forgive me, some of my podcasting skills might be a bit rusty or a bit lacking. But what I think I am good at is ideas, analysis, things like that, comment and opinion. So, bear with me as I stumble through this setup and introduction, etc. And then maybe we'll get on to some better content relatively soon. Just to try and get back to what I was saying, like who am I? Like I said, I'm John Keenan from New Zealand, from Wellington, Hurricane supporter. Born and raised Wellingtonian, and I'm currently living in Taipei, Taiwan. Talk a little bit more about me at some other time, I think. What is this? Well, it's the Rugby Gods podcast. And what does that mean? Well, or what do I want to achieve? Well, I basically want to comment on and focus on Super Rugby, the Super Rugby competition, starting in 2 weeks. The 2020 Super Rugby competition is January 31st, I believe, 2 weeks from today. I'm doing this demo or pilot on the 17th. I think there's a couple of warm-up games sitting in the New Zealand teams or the New Zealand conference happening possibly today and certainly this weekend, the weekend of the 18th, 19th. Sort of all black less, I think, in most cases. And obviously they're warm-up games, really meaningless. But maybe we'll have a little bit more rugby content analysis in a week from now or the next time round. There'll be a few super games or a few pre-season super games having been completed. So sorry, again, off topic, I kind of ramble. What do I want to achieve? Super Rugby focus. Also hopefully a Six Nations focus. I'd quite like to do that too. I really enjoy that competition. And I enjoy watching it, and so it's a competition that I like to watch, and this podcast is probably going to follow it, or have some opinions about what I've watched. So as an initial start, I think the 2020 Super Rugby competition, the 2026 Nations, again starting very soon, January, February, I believe, into March, right? Might be a little bit wrong on those dates, but it's certainly very soon. and yeah, we'll finish up in March. So yeah, hopefully I can do a little bit of a dive or delve into the Six Nations, check a few opinions out there, a few thoughts. The way I see it though, like I've said, I'm from New Zealand, born and raised in Wellington, born and raised on Super Rugby. So, I really have a passion for Southern Hemisphere rugby. So that includes, the Sanzar competitions, the Rugby Championship, as well as Super Rugby. So I think that really is where my focus will be. If I can continue to do this through the whole year, then hopefully we'll get to the November internationals, where we'll have some good solid crossover. The November internationals, I think they call them the fall internationals or something as well, right? Or the autumn internationals. So yeah, so we can have some good crossover there. And I believe this year it's going to be the July internationals, or when the Northern Hemisphere teams come down to essentially the Southern Hemisphere, primarily South Africa, Australia and New Zealand. So again, hopefully, we can have some crossover there and some chat. But yeah, mostly going to be focusing on Super Rugby and then follow up with the Rugby Championship. A little bit of Six Nations, maybe a little bit of the crossover time frames of the crossover periods. In 2020, that'll be July and November. And possibly the ITM Cup, or the Mighty 10 Cup, sorry. I just know it as NPC, the National Provincial Competition in New Zealand, but it has sponsorship these days. So I believe it's officially the Mighty 10 Cup. Has sort of three or four competitions inside of it. Certainly three. Anyway, and so yeah, that might be another competition to follow at the conclusion of Super Rugby, and sort of concurrently with the Rugby Championship. So yeah, again, a little bit of ramble time, right? But I think I got through the things that I want to do here, or the things that I'm hoping to do in the future. So yeah, I've got a couple more points that I sort of pre-prepared that maybe I can go through, and then I'll probably just do maybe a little bit of spitballing. Left things a little bit late. It's taken me a little bit of time tonight to actually set this up, which is pretty sad because it's not exactly a sophisticated arrangement. But yeah, I kind of got a bit waylaid, and I've got to take off in about 15-20 minutes. So, life, right? So yeah, maybe got 15-20 minutes still to go here. Got a couple more points and then a bit of spitballing. So yeah, things that I'd like to mention. The 2020 Super Rugby competition. Why not? It's kind of the baby, or the driving force, or it will be the driving force of the Rugby Gods podcast, certainly over the next 3 or 4 months, or 4 or 5 months, I guess. So yeah, something I thought I would start with is just have a quick look through the competition, maybe just quickly explain it, talk about some of the teams. I did have a section where I was going to talk about possible futures, or like possible future competition structures, but I think I'll just completely park that for another day. It's fairly complex, or there's some fairly complex ideas or thoughts there, and I think it's going to take a little bit more time than 10-15 minutes to do that justice. So yeah, I might have a quick look at the 2020 competition, explain it a little bit to anyone who doesn't really know, but would like a quick, go over. What the hell is this guy talking about? Why is he passionate about it? And then, yeah, have a look at a few teams, maybe some players inside of those teams. And then, yeah, just wrap up with 3 more points, rugby related. So, first thing that I would recommend or suggest for the Super Rugby competition that is beginning in the next 2 weeks, or 2 weeks from today, 31st of January, pretty sure is opening day in 2020. It would be to have a look at Super Rugby transfers. So what you should do is just basically get on Google, or however you search the internet, get on there and just write Super Rugby transfers, You might even want to write Super Rugby Transfers 2020. And you should come up with a Wikipedia page, English Wikipedia page. I'm not sure if you can change that to other languages, but probably can. It'll come up with a Wikipedia page, and it basically goes through team by team who was in the 2019 squad, who's out, who's in, and then the 2020 roster. So it's pretty easy to go through. Have a look at it. It's a Wikipedia page, but I've used it, or I've looked at it quite a lot on and off over the last 3, 4, 5 years, and I found it to be really good. It's a really good tool for Super Rugby. So let's go there now, or I'm going to quickly go there now. So just have a quick look through some of the teams. Maybe what I'll do is just quickly tell you there's 15 teams for 2020, 3 conferences. So you have the South African Conference, which also includes an Argentinian team, the Jaguares, 5 teams. You have an Australian Conference, which also includes a Japanese team, the Sunwolves, and then you have a New Zealand Conference with 5 teams. So 5 teams in each conference, 15 teams total. The teams inside of the conference play each other home and away, so that's 8 games. They then play 4 of the 5 teams in the 2 other conferences. So a little bit convoluted, a little bit weird, but essentially, if you're a New Zealand team, you don't play one of the Australian teams, you don't play one of the South African teams. That could include the Japanese and the Argentinian teams. You end up playing basically 8 cross-conference games or interconference games, and you end up playing 8 conference games, home and away, against the 4 other teams in your conference. So like I said, a little bit convoluted, a little bit confusing. It's actually about 1,000 times better than it was, say, 2 years ago. It had an even worse structure, and it'll probably be the last year of conferences, I believe, on the balance of probability, although again, something to talk about in the future. The Sunwolves will cease to exist. That's certainly the official word pre-2019 Rugby World Cup. The Sunwolves, the Japanese team, will be cut, which will put it back down to 14, see the end of the conferences, and it'll be a round-robin format. So 14 teams, 13 games, play each other once. So a lot more simple, or a lot simpler, but I've got a few thoughts on that, but it's for another time. If you've gone to the Wikipedia page, the Super Rugby Transfers 2019-2020 page, pretty sure that's the way it's worded. Is it right? List of 2019-20 Super Rugby Transfers. That's where you should be if you're kind of following along with me, or just interested in doing it by yourself. It basically lists all the teams. So I'm just going to have a quick go through. Might have a little bit more of a focus on the New Zealand teams. Again, it's kind of what I know. It's kind of my passion. We're going to start with Argentina, in fact, because it's essentially going by alphabetical order of country. So Argentina has the Jaguares, Australia has the Brumbies, Rebels, Reds, and Waratahs. Japan has the Sunwolves. New Zealand has the Blues, Chiefs, Crusaders, Highlanders, and Hurricanes, my team from Wellington. And then South Africa has 4 teams, the Bulls, Lions, Sharks, and Stormers. So there you go. I promise this is not going to actually be like a Hurricanes and drag show, although again, it is my baby, it's my passion, so there is going to be a Super Rugby focus. There is probably going to be a New Zealand Super Rugby focus. There probably is going to be a little bit of a Hurricanes Super Rugby focus, if you know what I mean. But I'll try and keep that in check as much as I can. So let's have a look at look at the time. We've got about another 10 minutes here, so talking a little bit too much smack. Jaguares. So I'm just going to have a quick go through. I'm just going to identify, I'm just going to go spine on it, if you will. So the spine of a team, generally speaking, you're looking at your 2, 8, 9, 10, 15. If you kind of look at those 5 players, that's kind of the backbone, the spine of the team. You've got good players, you've got good depth there, then odds on, that's pretty useful for your competition, for your for your performance, or for whatever you're doing. So in this respect, 16 game comp, you're going to want some depth in that spine. So just having a quick look at Argentina, the Argentinian team, the Jaguares. You say it with an H if you're getting more Spanish on it, spelled with a J. So they have Agustin Crevi back again, amazing. Julian Montoya and Santiago Susino. I'm going to butcher some of the Japanese and Spanish there, and probably some of the Afrikaans, and even some of the English. But Crevi and Montoya, definitely quality hookers. So I'm just going to focus on two more spots there, the scrum half fly half. I know them as halfback first five, but anyways, we can get to that at another time. So they've got Vetrano, Tibili, and Escura. That's three quality halfbacks right there. And then at pivot, fly half, first five, they've got Bonilla Diaz, or Diaz Bonilla. I hear people saying it like Bonicia or something, but it's spelled Bonilla, so I'm not quite sure how you get that. But it's Bonicia. I guess the LL is like a Y or something. I don't know Spanish, right? But Joaquin Diaz Bonilla, I'm just going to go with that, and Domingo Miotti, two really quality 10s. So just by looking at, a quick little look at the spine there of the Jaguares, basically 2, 9, 10, looking pretty fantastic. So I would be, off the top of my head there, just having a quick chat or a quick look, I would say they are well in line for another top 4 finish this year. Have had some losses, but maybe I'll come back, go through this in a little bit more depth. We're second time round, third time round. Maybe I'll go conference by conference on this moving forward. Just having a quick look through the Brumbies. Hooker, Falau Fainga, he was pretty amazing last year. Scored a lot of tries for them. They're rolling more, and he's back. Have a quick look at scrum half first five. Maybe not so much. So we've got Joe Powell. Joe Powell's there, reasonable halfback, but they're really going to struggle, I think, at 10. Liliafano and Wharanui Hawera are gone. They've brought in a boy from, he's coming straight from Nudgee College, which I'm pretty sure is like a Brisbane high school. Rizjan Pasiatoa, to go with Noah Locio and Bailey Kunzil. Man, rough. That's rough for me. But basically, long story short, I have no idea who any of those 3 10s are, and I think that's going to be really rough for the Brumbies this year. Quite good with the back three, and they've got their fullback Tom Banks there. He's one to watch, along with David Kurindrani in the centres, and Tony Pulu, ex-Chiefs winger. Pushing on to the Rebels. Again, if I just kind of keep it maybe to 2, 9, 10 here, we've got Anarurangi, reasonable, not too much else there. Scrum half, Lomani, Puddle's coming from somewhere else, I believe. Yeah, from the Reds. And then Andrew Deegan, Matt Tamoa, reasonable, Puddle, reasonable. So possibility of the top 8 with that kind of spine, but possibly kind of tough too. Looking through hookers at the Reds, Murphy, Painga Mosa, reasonable. 9-10, what do we got? Carter Gordon, Hamish Stewart. Looks like that's your 10s. Tuttle's moved on. You've got Tate McDermott and Sorobi with Fijian coming back. So McDermott, Sorobi, decent. Probably be looking to Bryce Hegarty, who's listed as a fullback, to probably play a fair amount of 10 there. Also got James O'Connor coming back. So maybe you play him at 10 too, or potentially. So I don't know. Reds maybe on the up. Possible top 8 there too. Waratahs. Not seeing a huge amount in the hooking stocks. A couple of big losses there. Latu and Pelota now both gone. Look through 9-10, scrum half first 5, whatever. Scrum half back. 9-10, that's what I'll say. Jake Gordon, not too bad. 10, rough. Will Harrison, Mac Mason, saw him a few times last year, not so sure. And Jack Walsh, no idea. So again, maybe you'd be looking to potentially fill that from more from the outside. Perhaps you'd want to be giving Curtly Beale perhaps a little bit more authority to run things rather than from the midfield, or from 15 you might be wanting to push into 10 there, I'd say. But yeah, Waratahs, good luck with that. Lenny Apisai, going on to the Sunwolves here. You got Lenny Apisai, picked up him from an old Hurricanes man that moved to the Blues, and now he's at the Sunwolves, so interesting. And you've got you've retained the Georgian Jabba Begavadze, whatever the Georgian international, I believe. So a couple of decent hookers there. 9-10 again. A little bit rough. Rudy Page, picked him up from Clermont, not too bad. I got Garth April as well, an old Sharks man. So I believe Rudy Page used to be a Bulls man. Bulls in terms of Pretoria, or I was going to say that, yeah, Transvaal, Northern Transvaal, I guess, the Bulls, Super Rugby Bulls. Looks like they've got him from Clermont in France, so pretty good pickup. And they've got Garth April as well, who was an old Sharks player. But they have lost a shit down there. Jamie Booth back to the Hurricanes. Fumiaki Tanaka's gone. Hayden Parker's gone. Yuta Mura's gone. So a huge amount of Japanese international talent there gone. So and even New Zealand talent. So yeah, it might be a little bit difficult for them. So I basically got through 5 Australian teams there. Probably should have started strong with the New Zealand teams, right? But yeah, let's maybe go have a quick look through for the Blues hooker. So I've got Parsons there. Scrum half, picked up Christie from the Hurricanes. Got Knock on Ruru, kept them. Got a huge stable of first flyouts or flyouts, led by Bowden Barrett, Teddy Black, Stephen Perifetta, Harry Plummer. I don't know how you've got 4 quality players like that in your squad, but good for them. Also, another one to look there is Joe Marchant, who's kind of been given a sabbatical from Harlequins to play in the centres and play Super Rugby for a season. So he's an up-and-coming England international, I believe, so it could be pretty interesting. Yeah, sky's the limit for the Blues perhaps, but I've got to come back and look a little bit more in depth to really do this justice. Chiefs, got Nathan Harris, who's been in and around the All Blacks for a while. Missed the World Cup though, but pretty good. Halfbacks, you've got Tituero Tahurirangi and Brad Weber. Also the return of Aaron Cruden from Montpellier. Tian Falcon, reasonable age grade player, out with injury last year, and Damien McKenzie, also primarily out with injury last year, but you'd probably play him more at fullback, I'd imagine. Fullback maybe coming into 10 to finish out games, but again, pretty reasonable 9-10 squad depth there. Crusaders, what do we got? We've got Makaleo coming back with Cody Taylor, Cody Taylor and Andrew Makaleo. Pretty good hooking stocks there. Scrum half, you've got Drummond and Hall back again, and Erianare as well, another pretty good Mitre 10 Cup or NBC level player. Fly half, they lost in the chance to the Highlanders, which we'll probably talk about soon a little bit, but they've got Fergus Burke from Canterbury, Brett Cameron also from Canterbury, and has been kind of the understudy, and obviously Richie Mwanga, who's been pretty amazing in Super Rugby over the last couple of years. So again, some real solid depth there at hook and 9-10, or 2-9-10. Let's go on to the Highlanders, Coltman and Dixon, and even Nathan Vella, who they picked up from the Sunwolves. So then Coltman, All Black, World Cup All Black anyway, Ash Dixon, Stalwart, and Nathan Vella back from the Sunwolves. That's a pretty good three to have to start off the season. At hooker, scrum half, Falau Fakatawa, Kane Hamilton, yeah, pretty reasonable. One on the rise and one established Super Rugby player, and then Aaron Smith. So again, very good. Brent Kaplan, Mitch Hunt, and Josh Ioane at fly half or 10. That's pretty incredible, really. 2-9-10, very set for the Highlanders. If they can avoid injuries, they could well have a really great season there. Then who we got here? Well, finish up with the Hurricanes, and I might have to come back to the South African Conference at another time. So with the Hurricanes, got Coles, Armour, Asaf Armour, up and comer, and Ricky Riccatelli. So three hookers that have kind of been around the team for the last 2 or 3 years are back again. Armour and Riccatelli, definitely Super Rugby grade players. Coles, very good All Black. So that's some nice depth. At hooker on 2, scrum halfback 9, Jamie Booth back from the Sunwolves, Jonathan Talmatene from the Chiefs, good pick or good buy, and TJ Perenara, of course, co-captain with Dane Coles this year. Fly half 10, a little bit rough, obviously Bowden Barrett to the Blues, and then really no buy, like no pickup, no transfer from anywhere. They've just retained Jackson Garden Bishop, Wellington NPC 10. James Marshall will come back into the mix from Japan, and Fletcher Smith, Waikato NPC 10 and former Highlander. So yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's quite good enough at the pivot or 10 to Garden Bishop, Marshall Smith. Yeah, I think they probably needed to go and buy something there in the market. But that's 10 of the teams. That's the Australia. Actually, I think it's 10 of the teams, 11 of the teams. Sorry. So it was the Argentinian team, the 4 Australian teams, Japanese team, and 5 New Zealand teams. I've got 4 South African teams to go through, but I am going to have to make a bit of a stop there. It's taking me a little bit too long to get through that. But yeah, like I said, check out Super Rugby Transfers. Google search Super Rugby Transfers 2019-2020, something like that, and you'll find a pretty good Wikipedia website that details that. Alright, so I'm going to have to pretty much stop it there, sign off there. A couple of things I just want to tell you. If you are doing any sort of Super Rugby fantasy, I recommend Super Brew. I believe it might be based out of South Africa. So that's SUPERBRU, Super Brew. They do a lot of different competitions, but they have a Super Rugby fantasy and a Super Rugby predictor competition. I'll be there for that. It'll be my 2nd season, so maybe I'll provide some details, try and provide some details, and if you want to hit me up or be in a group with me or have some banter, that'd be great. Rugby Pass, or the Rugby Pass. Get on board. If you're in a more sort of far-flung area of the rugby world, like Taiwan for example, Rugby Pass can be your saviour. It's just a really good system. It's essentially, Netflix for rugby. Has all the major competitions. Didn't have the Rugby World Cup last year for rights issues, I think, but generally speaking, at the club level, it has everything, and then it has 6 Nations, it has the Rugby Championship, it has all the crossover fixtures between the North and Southern hemispheres. So fantastic. Get on board with the Rugby Pass if you haven't, or if you haven't heard about it, or if you have heard about it, I thoroughly recommend it. And then I have one sort of final question that I'll want to come back to at a different stage. 10-14 rugby. Again, maybe search the internet, search Facebook, probably just search YouTube, probably the best. Look up 10-14 rugby. They were a couple of guys from New Zealand. I think one's Irish, but they're based out in New Zealand. Fantastic guys. Actually had a little bit of chit chat back and forth with them a year or 2 back. Just really great analysis, and I recommend catching up with them or watching some of their clips, etc. I'm not really sure where they've gone. They seem to have fallen off a cliff. They kind of disappeared sometime during the Rugby World Cup, and then, I don't know, I haven't really seen or heard anything from them in the last few months. So yeah, if anybody knows what happened to 10-14 Rugby, that would be great. Like, maybe you can tell me or tell everybody here where they are or what they're doing, because they're a pretty awesome piece of equipment. I don't know if that's the wrong saying, but they're a pretty awesome piece of just rugby analysis, rugby opinion, comment. So I'm going to pretty much leave it at that. I've got to take off and do some real stuff, real life stuff. 30 minutes done. Hopefully this will actually go out to the world. Maybe this is just a test run to myself. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you ever see this, try and get it up and out pretty soon. Basically it's going to be a bit of a Super Rugby focus for the next few months, with a sprinkling of Six Nations. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching if you did, and I'll see you around, I'll see you soon. Good luck, get involved with Super Brew and Super Rugby Fantasy, that'd be cool, and hit me up, give me some love. We'll see you later.